Welcome everyone to Android Outlook. In this part, we are going to create this application and understand the different transactions in Fragment. So when I click this button, it is going to add the fragment A, and when I click this button, it is going to add the fragment B. And by clicking this button, it is going to detach that fragment and lead us to the previous state, and we can detach this fragment A as well. So let me click this fragment A, and we can replace this fragment with fragment B by just clicking this button, and we will obtain the fragment B here, and we can detach this fragment B by clicking this button. So we are now going to create this application. Let's begin. Alright, so here I have created the project called Fragment Transaction. So let's explore about the fragment transaction now. So first of all, let us create the two fragment. So let us start with Java. So first one is going to be fragment A. It's going to extend the fragment, and we need to override the method called onCreateView, and we need to return the layout. So inflator.inflate layout.fragment A container false, and we need to create this layout. So let's make the root element as relative layout and hit OK, and drag the text, and let us name it as I am the fragment A. Let's specify the background, and now let us create the another fragment here. So fragment B, and again the same process, fragment on create view, and inflator.inflate r.layout.fragment B container false. Let's create this layout as well. So I'll press enter to create, and again let it be the relative layout, and drag the text, and it says I am fragment B, and also change the background color of this fragment, fluorescent, hit OK. Now let us add some button in our activity_main so that we can perform some operation. So let me add button here. It is going to say add A, and the another button add B. So whenever this button is clicked, it is going to add the fragment A. Whenever this button is clicked, it is going to add the fragment B. So let me pause this video and add all of those necessary buttons here. Alright, so I have added all of those buttons that we need in this project. So let's go to into the text mode, and there we see the list of buttons only. So furthermore, I have added the onClick attributes on each of those buttons, and give the name value as corresponding to that text name. So for the add A, it's add A. So for the add B, it's add B, and similar process goes like this. And now let us come to the main activity.java, and we need to write the corresponding function of those onClick attributes, right? So for the add A, we can have the function like add A, and it takes the parameter as view, and then we need to perform the operation in here. So let me pause this video and add all of those necessary functions in here. There we go. These are all the functions that we need to write in the main activity.java. So up in here, let's just have the fragment manager and fragment transaction as well, and in the onCreate, fragment manager is going to be get support fragment manager, and inside the add A, it's going to be fragment transaction dot fragment manager dot begin transaction. So alt enter to format. Now before doing anything with these functions, let's just come to the activity underscore main and in design mode, and let's just drag the frame layout below these buttons here, and let's place this ID as frame layout ID. Fine. Now come to the main activity.java, and we can begin the transaction as fragment transaction.add, and inside here we need to first pass the first parameter as r.id.frame layout ID, and the second parameter is going to be the fragment. So our fragment is new fragment A, and then we need to pass the tag here, so our fragment A in this case, and finally we need to commit this transaction from transaction.commit. So let's run this application now, and here is our application, and when I click on this button, it is going to add the fragment A in the frame layout. Now let's add the fragment B. Let me just copy and paste them. Instead of fragment A, we need to pass the fragment B, and let's change the tag as well. So this is all we need to do, add the fragment B in the frame layout. And you can remove the fragment A by fragment transaction equals to fragment manager dot begin transaction, and then fragment transaction dot remove and the fragment. So we can get this fragment by fragment manager dot find fragment by tag, and this is our tag, right? So, and this is all we need to do to remove the fragment A from the frame layout. So we need to finally commit this transaction. So commit them, and let me copy and paste this to the remove B as well, and we need to change the tag as our fragment B, and this is going to remove the fragment B from the frame layout as well. And in order to replace the fragment A with B, we can do so by just comment, copy and paste it here. So fragment transaction dot replace, and it says we need the container ID and container view ID and the fragment. So it's gonna be r.id.frame layout ID and the fragment that we want to place with. So in this case the fragment is fragment 2, right? So new fragment B, and let me give the fragment tag as our fragment B again. So, and then we need to commit this transaction. So fragment transaction dot commit, and let me copy this, copy and paste it here, and we need to get the fragment A. So let us make this as fragment A, and we need to change the fragment tag as our fragment A. So this is going to replace the fragment B with A. And here I forgot to pass the view parameter in our function, so let me pass them here. So view, view, and finally view for this function as well. So let's run this, choose emulator and hit OK, and here is our application once again. So when I click this button, it is going to add the fragment A, and when I click this button, it is going to add the fragment B, and I can replace this fragment B with A by clicking this button. So there we see it is now replacing, and now the fragment is A, and we can remove this fragment A, and if I add this button, and we can even replace this fragment B by clicking this. And now let us implement the remaining features like attach and detach functionalities in this application. Now let me make some free space here first of all, and in order to attach the fragment, let's copy this line and paste it here. So fragment transaction dot attach, and it needs the fragment, and we can get that fragment by fragment manager dot find fragment by ID. In our case it is our fragment A. So this is going to be our tag, and we need to commit this transaction, fragment transaction dot commit. So for the attach of the B, it is going to be similar process. So let me copy and paste, and in this case we need to pass our fragment B as a tag. And now let's remove this tag as well. So fragment transaction equals to fragment manager dot begin transaction, and fragment transaction dot detach, and it needs the fragment. So we can get that fragment by this line of code. Let me copy them and paste it here. So, and we need to commit this transaction as well. So let me copy and paste it here and just change this fragment. Oops, so let me change this as A, and we have successfully achieved all of those functionalities here. So let's run this, and here is our application. When I click this button, it is going to add. Now let's detach this fragment. So by clicking this button, and now it has detached that fragment. So one thing to be sure is that it is completely different to that of remove A. So by clicking this button detach A, I'm just making it invisible. In the case of removing the fragment, we are completely destroying the view or the fragment, but in this detach method we are just making it invisible. So I hope you got the concept of how all of this fragment transaction works. So, and I will see you in the next part with something interesting topic to deal with. So see you then. Thank you for watching.